What if reality isn't solid? What if the mountains, the oceans, the stars, and your own body were nothing more than a persistent illusion, a shadow play on the wall of a cave? What if the entire universe, in all its staggering complexity, is a single conscious thought? And what if the instruction manual for operating this reality, for mastering its very fabric, has been hidden, not lost, not forgotten, but intentionally forbidden? For millennia, this knowledge has been whispered in secret societies, encoded in cryptic symbols, and passed down from master to acolyte, far from the eyes of the masses. It was deemed too powerful, too disruptive, too dangerous for the uninitiated. It is a key that unlocks the mind, and in doing so, unlocks the cosmos. This knowledge has a name, the Kybalion, a collection of axioms from the mists of antiquity, attributed to a single godlike figure, Hermes Trismegistus, the Thoth of the Egyptians, the scribe of the gods, the master of masters. The promise of this knowledge is absolute, and for many, heretical. It dismantles the comfortable fiction that we are victims of circumstance. It shatters the chains of a random material world. It looks you in the eye and tells you that the prison you perceive is a projection of your own mind, and it hands you the key. This video is not a simple summary. We are not here to skim the surface. This is a deep dive, a feature-length decoding of the 7 Hermetic Principles, the 7 forbidden laws that govern all of creation, from the birth of a galaxy to the firing of a neuron in your brain. By the end of this journey, you will not just know the principles, you will see them. You will feel them operating in every breath, every choice, every challenge. The code that shapes the cosmos is the same code that shapes your life. This is the knowledge they didn't want you to have. The question is, are you ready to receive it? We begin with the master key, the axiom upon which all others depend. It is the first, the last, the alpha and the omega of all Hermetic philosophy. The Kybalion states, "The all is mind, the universe is mental." Ponder this. Let the weight of it settle. This is not a metaphor. It is not poetry. It is the statement of a fundamental fact. It declares that the universe and everything within it is not a collection of dead matter, of rocks and gas colliding by blind chance. The universe is a mental creation. It is a single, infinite, living mind. The ancients called this mind the All. It is the substantial reality, the unnameable, unknowable essence from which all things spring. It is beyond definition, for it contains all definitions. It is beyond time and space, for it is the creator of time and space. Everything we see, touch, hear, and experience, the farthest star, the deepest ocean, the most complex thought, is nothing but a thought form, an idea held in the infinite mind of the All. This is the most profound paradigm shift a human can experience. It reframes your entire existence. You are not a biological accident in a dead universe. You are a thought, living inside a greater thought. Think of it this way. The All is the infinite dreamer. The universe is its dream. Galaxies, solar systems, planets, life, all are intricate, complex, and persistent figments of this cosmic dream. But here is the crux of the principle, the secret that makes it so powerful. You are also in the dream, and you are created in the image of the dreamer. If the All is the infinite mind, you are a finite center of that mind. If the All is the cosmic dreamer, you are a dreamer within the dream. And just as the All creates the universe by the act of thinking, you create your personal reality by the act of thinking. This is why this knowledge was forbidden. It relocates the seat of power. Power is not external. It is not in armies, in governments, in wealth. True primary power is mental. If reality is mental, then the mastery of your own mind is the first, final, and only true form of mastery. The uninitiated man is a slave to his own mental creations. He is buffeted by his fears, his doubts, his angers, all thought forms he creates and then believes are real.
He is a prisoner
of a mental cell of his own making. The Hermetic Master, the one who understands mentalism, begins the great work, mental alchemy. He learns to observe his thoughts not as himself, but as creations. He learns to distinguish the I from the thought forms that I creates. He begins to consciously choose, to direct, to transmute his mental states. He realizes that if the universe is mental, then a change in the mind must precede a change in circumstance. You cannot change the reflection in the mirror without first changing the object it reflects. The modern world is just now catching up to this ancient truth. The fathers of quantum physics, standing baffled before the observer effect, discovered what Hermes taught millennia ago, that the very act of observing reality changes it. That consciousness itself is fundamental, that the universe, at its core, behaves less like a great machine and more like a great thought. This first principle is the foundation, it is the battlefield, it is the prize. You are a mental being, living in a mental universe. Your mind is your only tool, your only weapon, and your only prison. Master your mind, and you have grasped the lever that moves the world. Now that we have established the mental nature of the universe, we need a map, a way to navigate this infinite mental cosmos. How can the finite mind comprehend the infinite? The second principle provides the compass. It is perhaps the most famous of all Hermetic axioms. As above, so below. As below, so above. This simple phrase is a key of profound elegance. It states that there is a harmony, an agreement, a correspondence between all planes of reality. The laws that govern the above, the macrocosm, the universe, the movements of stars and galaxies, are the very same laws that govern the below, the microcosm, the individual, the movements of your inner life. The universe is a grand holographic reflection. The pattern repeats at every scale. The atom is a miniature solar system. The structure of a neuron mirrors the cosmic web of galaxies. The spiral of a seashell echoes the spiral of a hurricane. As above, so below. But this is not just a poetic observation of nature. It is a powerful practical tool for reasoning and for power. The true forbidden application of this principle is found in its other form, as within, so without. If your mind, the microcosm, is a reflection of the universal mind, the macrocosm, then your personal reality, your life, your circumstances, your without, is a perfect, infallible reflection of your inner mental and emotional state, your within. The world does not happen to you. The world reflects you. This is one of the hardest truths for the human ego to accept. The ego wants to be a victim. It wants to blame. It wants to point to the without and say, that is the cause of my suffering. The Hermeticist does the opposite. When he encounters chaos, conflict, or lack in his external world without, he does not try to fight the reflection. He does not waste energy trying to rearrange the shadows on the wall. He stops. He looks within. He asks, what mental state inside me corresponds to this external reality? What fear am I holding? What limiting belief am I projecting? What internal vibration is this external event a reflection of? This is the path of the Master. He realizes he cannot change the without directly. He can only change the within. And by the infallible law of correspondence, when the within is changed, the without must follow. It has no choice. It is the law. If you live in a state of internal scarcity, fearing lack, the universe must reflect that back to you as financial hardship. It is not a punishment. It is a correspondence. If you live in a state of internal conflict, at war with yourself, the universe must reflect that back as arguments, drama, and external enemies. If you seek peace in the world, you must first become the embodiment of peace within. If you seek abundance without, you must first cultivate the consciousness of abundance within. This is true alchemy. It is the transmutation of the base metal of a chaotic inner life into the pure gold of a mastered inner state. The without simply follows suit. As above, so below allows the sage to understand the mind of God by studying a grain of sand. As within, so without allows the sage to master his entire world by mastering only himself. This is the second great law. You are a mirror, and the universe is your reflection. Stop trying to polish the mirror. Focus on the object it reflects. The first principle told us what the universe is, mental. The second told us how it is structured, correspondence. The third principle tells us how it operates. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This principle, stated thousands of years ago, is the bedrock of modern physics. There is no such thing as solid matter. There is no such rest. The desk you are sitting at, the walls around you, the very phone in your hand, they all appear solid and still. But if you look through a powerful enough microscope, you would see a whirling, chaotic dance of atoms. And if you could look deeper still, you would find no thing at all, just vortices of energy, just vibration. The universe is a symphony of vibrations. The difference between a rock, a plant, a sound, a color, a thought, and even spirit is not a difference of kind. It is a difference of vibration. It is all energy. All is the all. The only difference is the frequency. Spirit is energy vibrating at an infinitely high frequency, so high that it appears to be at rest, like a spinning wheel that looks motionless. Gross matter is energy vibrating at a very low frequency, so low that it also appears to be at rest. Between these two poles are millions upon millions of different vibrational octaves. The frequencies of light, of sound, of emotions, of thoughts. Here we enter one of the most subtle and powerful of the laws, the principle that unlocks the art of mental alchemy. The Kybalion states, everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. This axiom seems like a paradox, a riddle. But in this riddle lies the secret to emotional mastery. It tells us that opposites do not truly exist. What we call opposites are merely two ends of the same thing. Let's examine this. Heat and cold. Are they two different things? No. They are two ends of the spectrum of temperature. There is no place on a thermometer where heat ends and cold begins. They are identical in nature, differing only in degree. Light and darkness. Are they two separate opposing forces? No. They are two poles of the same spectrum of luminosity. Courage and fear. Are they two separate opposing forces? No. They are two poles of the same spectrum of bravery. You cannot be courageous without the presence of fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the higher degree of the same mental quality. This is the key. Now look at the most volatile pair of opposites, love and hate. The Hermeticist teaches that love and hate are not two different things. They are two poles of the same spectrum. The true opposite of both love and hate is indifference. This is why you can transmute hate into love. They are on the same stick. It is why the line between them is so thin. You cannot, however, easily transmute hate into, say, a desire for mathematics. They are on completely different mental spectrums. This is the alchemical secret, the art of polarity. The Kybalion says, thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but different in degree. If your mind is filled with a low vibration, negative emotion like fear, the untrained person thinks they must fight it, destroy it, or suppress it. This is a battle they will always lose. The Hermeticist does not fight. He performs an act of mental alchemy. He knows that fear is just the negative pole of a spectrum. The positive pole is courage. He knows he cannot destroy the fear, but he can transmute it. How? By an act of will, he slides his mental state along the pole. He consciously focuses his attention, his vibration, away from the pole of fear and towards the pole of courage. He does not deny the fear, he repolarizes it, he changes its degree. This is mental transmutation. It is the ability to change an unwanted mental state into a desired one. You cannot turn a bad emotion into nothing, but you can turn it into its good pole. You can transmute despair, the pole of hope, by consciously polarizing your mind towards hope. You can transmute anger, the pole of peace, by consciously polarizing your mind towards peace. This is not positive thinking. This is not denial. This is a deliberate scientific recalibration of your own consciousness. The master of polarity understands that dark emotions are not enemies to be slain. They are simply the low-frequency end of a spectrum waiting to be transmuted into their higher positive pole. This principle hands you the power to become the master of your moods, the alchemist of your own emotions. You stop being a victim of your feelings and become the director of them. You realize that no mental state is permanent. Everything has its opposite pole, and you hold the power to slide the scale. Now that we understand the poles, we must understand the movement between them. The fifth principle explains the mechanics of the universe's cycles. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This law is all around us. The rise and fall of tides, the cycle of day and night, the turning of seasons, the boom and bust of economies, the rise and fall of empires, and most importantly, the rise and fall of your own moods, your energy, your life. The pendulum is always swinging. It is a universal law. What goes up must come down. What swings forward must swing back. This explains the cycle of life. After a period of great joy, there is often a corresponding swing into a low. After a period of intense work and hustle, there is a corresponding swing into burnout. The average person is a slave to this pendulum. They are swept up in the euphoria of the upswing, identifying completely with it. Then they are plunged into the despair of the downswing, believing that is their reality. They are tossed back and forth, a helpless cork on the ocean of their own moods. They believe they are their emotions. They are happy. Then they are sad. They are not in control. The rhythm is. But the Kybalion reveals a forbidden technique, a way to escape the pendulum. It is called the law of neutralization. The principle states that the master understands the rhythm, but is not used by it. How? The master learns to rise above the pendulum swing. Imagine the pendulum of a clock. The master does not try to stop the pendulum. That is impossible and would violate the law. Instead, he learns to raise his consciousness, his I amness, from the bob of the pendulum up to the pivot point at the very top. The pivot point moves, but it does not swing. The master neutralizes the effect of the pendulum by not participating in the swing. He achieves this through mental alchemy. When he feels the pendulum of his emotions swinging to an extreme high, mania, egoic pride, he does not identify with it. He observes it. He says, "The rhythm is swinging up. I will enjoy this, but I will not become it, for I know the backward swing will come." And when the pendulum inevitably swings back into a low, sadness, depression, failure, he also does not identify with it. He observes it. He says, "This too is the law. The pendulum is on its backward swing. I will allow it to pass, but I will not become it. I will not be broken by it." He retreats to his pivot point, his higher consciousness, his I amness. He becomes the observer of the swing, not the victim of it. This is the power that allows a person to remain calm in a crisis, to remain humble in victory. They are not at the effect of the rhythm. This is how you avoid being pulled into mass hysteria, financial panics, or emotional drama. You recognize the pendulum swing in the collective, and you consciously polarize yourself at your pivot point of neutrality. You cannot stop the tides of the ocean, but you can learn to build a ship, to set a rudder, and to rise above the waves, using them to move you rather than allowing them to drown you. This is the mastery of rhythm. You do not stop the swing, you simply step off it. This principle brings us to the very mechanics of fate, destiny, and free will. It is the law that separates the pawn from the player. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. This is an absolute statement. There is no such thing as luck. There is no chance. There are no accidents. These are just names we give to a cause we do not perceive. A man wins the lottery. We call it luck. The Hermeticist says, no, it was an effect. The cause may be hidden, a chain of events, a mental state, a vibrational resonance set in motion years ago, but there was a cause. A man suffers a random tragedy. We call it bad luck. The Hermeticist says, no, it is an effect. The cause is hidden in a deeper plane of causation, perhaps from this life, perhaps from a past one, perhaps from the collective, but it is not random. This is the most sobering of all principles. It demands radical responsibility. The Kybalion teaches that there are different planes of causation. The vast majority of humanity lives on the plane of effect. They are the products of society, of genetics, of their upbringing, of media. Their moods are caused by the weather. Their opinions are caused by the news. Their actions are reactions to what others do. They are, in short, pawns on the chessboard of life. They are moved by hidden hands, by causes they do not understand. They are victims, slaves to circumstance. Then there is the higher plane, the plane of causes. This is the plane of the masters. The Hermeticist, by understanding the previous principles, learns to rise to this higher plane. He stops being an effect and decides to become a cause. He does not let the news, cause, dictate his mood, effect. He chooses his mood, cause, which then dictates how he perceives the news, effect. He does not let another person's anger, cause, force him into a reaction of anger, effect. He chooses a response of neutrality, cause, which then transmutes the situation, effect. He understands that the within is the plane of causes. The without is the plane of effects. The master does not try to change effects. He creates causes. He uses mentalism to forge the thought, cause. He uses vibration to energize the thought, cause. He uses polarity and rhythm to protect his mental creation from being swept away, cause. And then he allows the law of cause and effect to do its work, knowing that the corresponding effect must, by universal law, manifest in his reality. This is what it means to be a player in the game, not a pawn. The pawns are moved by the causes of their environment, their programming, and the will of others. The players move themselves. They operate from the plane of causes. They initiate. You cannot escape the law. You are always either a cause or an effect. The question is, which will you choose to be? Will you be a master of causation or a pawn of circumstance? The sixth principle lays this choice at your feet. We arrive at the final principle, the one that explains how creation happens. It is the law of generation, the creative force of the universe. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. We must be very clear. This principle has nothing to do with physical sex. Physical sex is merely one manifestation, a below reflection, of this universal above principle. This law states that everything in the cosmos, from the creation of a galaxy to the creation of an idea, requires the interplay of two energies. The masculine principle, or yang, is the energy of projection. It is the will. It is assertive, active, positive, directed. It is the force that does, that builds, that projects outward. The feminine principle, or yin, is the energy of reception. It is the womb. It is receptive, passive, creative, nurturing. It is the space that receives the seed, that incubates the idea, that nurtures the plan. Nothing can be created without both. A farmer, masculine, with a seed, masculine, is useless without the earth, feminine, to plant it in. The earth, feminine, is barren, no matter how fertile, until it receives the seed, masculine. Creation is the child of their union. This law manifests on all planes. On the physical plane, male and female. On the energy plane, positive and negative in electricity. On the mental plane, this is where it becomes a profound tool. Your mind contains both principles. You have a feminine mental aspect, your subconscious, your intuition, your imagination. This is the womb of ideas. You have a masculine mental aspect, your conscious mind, your logic, your willpower. This is the will that acts on those ideas. Here is the tragedy of our modern world. We live in a society that is dangerously out of balance. Our hustle culture glorifies only the masculine principle. It worships doing, forcing, projecting, building, competing. It has come to despise the feminine principle. It sees resting as lazy. It sees receiving as weak. It dismisses intuition as woo. It starves the creative, nurturing, receptive part of the soul. This imbalance is why so many people are burnt out. They are all masculine will with no feminine womb. They are trying to will their creations into existence without ever nurturing them, without receiving the intuitive guidance. Their victories are hollow, their creations stillborn. The Hermetic Master, on the other hand, understands that true creation is a dance of balance. He does not just hustle. First, he employs his feminine principle. He becomes quiet. He listens. He opens himself to intuition. He receives the spark, the idea from the higher planes. He incubates this idea in the womb of his subconscious, nurturing it, feeling it, allowing it to grow. Then and only then does he employ his masculine principle. He uses his logic to plan. He uses his will to act. He projects the fully formed idea out into the world with focused intention. The feminine conceives. The masculine executes. Without the feminine, action is blind and chaotic. Without the masculine, ideas are just daydreams that never materialize. Every single thing you wish to create, a business, a work of art, a new relationship, a new you, requires this sacred marriage. You must learn to honor both. You must know when to be and when to do. This is the seventh, final law of creation. You are a complete creative being. You are both the father and the mother of your own reality. We have journeyed through the seven forbidden laws. Mentalism, the universe is mind. Correspondence, your world is a reflection of your mind. Vibration, your mind is an instrument you can tune. Polarity, your emotions are a spectrum you can master. Rhythm, your cycles are a force you can neutralize. Cause and effect, your mind is the ultimate cause. Gender, your mind is the complete creative force. Do you see the pattern? The Kybalion principles are not separate. They are a single unified system. They all point back to one truth: you. The seven principles are a step-by-step description of the power of your consciousness. The Kybalion is not just a book to be read. It is a system to be lived. It is not a philosophy to be believed in. It is a description of the laws of reality, as real as the law of gravity. They are operating on you right now, whether you believe in them or not. The only difference is this: do you remain ignorant of them and thus upon, or do you learn them, master them, and become a player? This is why this knowledge was forbidden. It is the ultimate red pill. It shatters the illusion of victimhood. It places the full and terrifying weight of responsibility for your life exactly where it belongs, on your own shoulders. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a co-creator with the all. You are not a prisoner of reality. You are the creator of your reality, operating within a system of divine mental law. The knowledge has been decoded. The principles are revealed. The scribe of the gods has handed you the stylus. The mental universe lies before you like an unwritten scroll. The only question left is, will you remain a prisoner of the effects, or will you rise to the cause and become the master of your mental universe? The key is in your mind. It always has been.